Let's turn our attention next to the NBA world. With NBA trades popping left and right, it does leave some, I don't know if you want to call it player prop questions or even player prop availabilities or value potentially, if you know what you're doing with some of these absences.
Yeah.
So King of the Court tonight could be a little unique compared to other nights, but as always, we've got our prepared picks to survey the landscape for you. Where do we start, Dave?
Real quick, I think we want to start maybe, this is all stuff I've done before the trade and everything, but it might be worth looking at, matchups against the Jazz now tonight, since they're going to have a bit of a lineup shakeup in there. Probably not the most reliable starting five that's going to, put in a great performance. So I think they're playing the Pacers. See what do you got? Siakam, Nemhard, not a super inspiring roster, but you could probably find somebody, at least one matchup worth using. I would definitely check out the projections hub and see if anybody catches your eye. But for now, we'll pull up our original targets for King of the Court here and go through them. Surprise, surprise, Luka Doncic back on top of the PRA board. Basically, his natural habitat is sitting top 1, 2, or 3 in our projections hub. Nets are a bottom 5 defensive rated team this season, but weirdly stingy when it comes to guards, particularly lately, outside of a recent Jaylen Brown overtime explosion where he had 49 PRA with a triple-double. But they've been limiting the overall output to the position in their last 10 games. Luka's obviously always live to win King of the Court, projected for 49.6 tonight. He's won it 4 times this year. I will say his most recent bonus bet was actually the highest that he's returned so far at $41. So, you're not getting nothing if you back him and he wins. It's just not the type of upside you get from someone else. He's got as much of a PRA floor as anybody. But the matchup tonight maybe caps his blow-up potential based on recent results. But if you're trying to pick the night that Luka doesn't go off, it's basically a loser's game. We're not trying to fade him. Just look for someone else who could return a bigger bonus. But, as always, you could take Luka as the favorite, and you'll probably be looking at somewhere between $30 and $40 for a bonus bet. Second, we have SGA projected for 42.9. Little, I guess, disclaimer here. He's projected alongside Embiid, but I left him out. He has not played a back-to-back once this year. It seems like he probably won't, basically by design. So I'm not going to bother including him here. However, if he does play and you think Joel Embiid's going to have the nights he's been having lately, he's certainly in the mix there. But problem with SGA is his ceiling is kind of dependent on him scoring like 40 plus points, which obviously you can do anytime, but to really stuff the PRA stat sheet and hit the high totals. But that eats his assist upside. Obviously, he can't get an assist if he's scoring on the play, and he's not really a big rebounder. Top 15 in the league in assists and the second highest scorer, but I think he's like well outside the top 100 as far as rebounds. So he really has to kind of all come together for him on the right night, which is the biggest issue. It doesn't seem to happen on Tuesdays. In the past week and a half, he's got PRA totals of 58, 55, and 52. It just doesn't happen on Tuesdays. He hasn't won once this season. I don't think he's put up 50 on a Tuesday, which would put him, in the top 3 on most nights. But he is questionable tonight, facing the Magic, who rank pretty much middle of the category versus guards. Middle of the pack in every category versus guards over their last 10 games. Could be a sneaky good matchup, though. Donovan Mitchell just cooked him twice for 50 and 53 PRA in back-to-back games. Like I said, though, questionable with a finger injury, so keep your eyes on that. We will be going back to this matchup in a bit. Third, Jalen Johnson of the Hawks, projected for 42.8. Keeps popping up in here lately. Really impressive all-around contributions this season. Fresh off a triple-double the other night, but he's seen his scoring dip in January, averaging about 4 points less per game. Lower floor this past month, 8 games under 20 points. He's had some really monster rebounding games, some of the highest of the year, also some of the lowest of the year. Just been a really volatile past few weeks for him. Went 24, 9, and 10 against Miami earlier this season. Not the most enticing matchup, as they're a pretty solid defense. A little bit better against forwards, particularly, but they've been more vulnerable to rebounds, which is his kind of biggest complementary stat. second most this season, bottom 5 over their last 10. Probably looking around for a triple-double or some alternate rebound lines for Jalen Johnson. Going to our 2 long shots here. We're going to look at Paolo Banchero of the Magic against the Thunder. He's a long shot, but got some solid upside. Thunder have been a little rough defensively lately in their toughest stretch of the season, allowing the second most rebounds over their past 10 games. Paolo's flirting with the double-double projection tonight. He's got 2 30-point double-doubles in his past 5 games. In that stretch, he's led the team in 2 PRA categories in 4 of them, one of them all 3. He's got more overall upside tonight with Franz Wagner out. And barring a nuclear scoring game from Desmond Bane, really no one else has this ceiling on the Magic. If it would be anyone, it'd be him. Second highest rebound projection for a non-center in the projections hub tonight. Would definitely be looking at that as a play. And then finally, go with Karl Anthony Towns, projected for 37.2 PRA. He gets the Wizards, always a great matchup. Not quite automatic as the Jazz, but still very good. He is in a rough scoring stretch, however, averaging 20.6 points per game in November and December, down to just over 15 per game since then. Pretty tough. He has elevated his rebound ceiling, though. So if everything kind of lines up, could be really good. 3 games with 20-plus boards in December. Tonight, he faces a Wizards team, ranks bottom 5 points, rebounds, and assists to opposing centers over their past 15. Towns had 33, 13, and 5 versus the Wizards earlier this season. That would put him in the rough range where you're winning King of the Court, except for last week, which was the lowest of the season, under 50. Like I said, Wizards are always a good team to attack for the promo. If you don't think Cat can get the scoring sorted, probably doesn't hurt to go with Brunson, who could, pile up the assists and, of course, can score 35 pretty much any night. So those will be the 5 targets. Just a reminder, we're looking for ways to attack these games. Even if these guys can't win King of the Court, there's some good betting angles to play. There's straight picks or a little, projections lotto, couple plays to target that I think you could look at. Luka, 35 plus points. You get plus money there. Top projected scorer of the night. SGA, you can get plus money at 5 or 6 rebounds, projected for 4.6. Jalen Johnson, his triple doubles plus 335. One of our closest players to get one tonight. Banchero, I mentioned his boards, 10 plus, 11 plus, 12 plus, 9.2 boards for his projection. You can get him plus money in pretty much anything over that. And probably a key stat if he's going to wear the crown tonight. And then for Cat, he's our top projected rebounder of the night, 13.1. You can get him plus money at 14 plus. So, I'd probably target his boards. You don't have to win the bet to win the crown, but you could ladder him up if you don't want to commit to just a single play. And like I said, any way we can find value on one of these guys is a great way to target them, even if we can't win King of the Court and the bonus bets. So that's what we got tonight.
Yeah, as fun as it is to frame this all as it's King of the Court, this is really just player props to add to your card tonight and look for matchups that we think are good. So bet them however you'd like. Pick your favorite for the King of the Court. I will say my personal favorite angle tonight that you laid out for us, I like Paolo against the Thunder with no Franz. I think there is an element to this, especially with a team as prestigious at this point as Oklahoma City is, that if you're an opposing superstar, you kind of get up to play them a little bit. We've seen that with Chet at times in the last couple of months. And I feel like with Paolo, he's, the Magic are good enough to kind of just coast through the East at full strength. If they're going to hang with Oklahoma City at all, you have to have Paolo on like a 10 out of 10 performance tonight with no Franz. And I think he knows that. I think he comes in pretty intentional to try to elevate his game. And as you mentioned, 2 monster 30-point double-doubles in the last couple of weeks for him. So that's personally what I'm going to be doing. I like Paolo double-double tonight. I like the rebound ladder for him as well, but he'll be my King of the Court play tonight, Dave.
Yeah, I think I'm doing that too. A lot of green flags. I really like Cat, as a play. The scoring lately has, it's a little gross to look at, but sometimes you just need that one game to get right. You find your flow, and that's it. But yeah. Probably Paolo for me.
Yep. All right, we're aligned.